Morning all. Starting off today where I ended up last time, which is in the village of Deene Park. But I'm heading the opposite way to the airfield this time, to the village of Deene. Don't know too much about what to expect. It's Deene Park, Deene House. It looked mildly interesting on a map, so it's a good excuse to come out and see what it's got to offer. First challenge is I've got to cross the busy A43 to get there, and I'm not quite sure how we do that, but once we're over there it should be a bit more peaceful. Well, we're coming around now towards Deene Hall, who own basically all the land around here. These lakes this is actually Willow Brook, good old Willow Brook that passes through here. We're in the valley of the Willow Brook, and the owners of Deene Hall dammed it basically to create a series of ornamental lakes, and did a good job as well. Doesn't do any harm to the brook. It comes out the other side and heads off towards Peterborough. So, but yeah, this is a very nice part of Willow Brook, even though it's a lake. That's the wonderful Deene Church. It's actually what they call redundant. It isn't actually used as a church anymore. It belongs to the Brudenell family, who own Deene Hall and have done for nearly 500 years now. It actually dates back to medieval times, or at least the tower does, the spire does. But I think it was around about the mid 1500s. No, I correct myself there. It was the mid 1800s when it was substantially rebuilt by the Brudenell family. They kept the spire, that's the old bit, but the rest of it was built in the mid 1800s, and I mean it was a church then, as such. It was used as a church, congregations and whatever, but it is now redundant. privately owned, conserved and rightly looked after. Yeah, I guess there's no one to go. There's really not, apart from Deene and Deanthorpe, there's not a lot around here to justify keeping it going as a church, as an active church. Lovely building though. Some tremendous old gravestones here. It's always such a pity you can't read the inscriptions on 90% of them, but I know for a fact that 3 or 4 of them are grade 2 listed. That's grade 2 listed headstones, not because they're famous people, but just because of the nature of the stone and the age of it. But I can't find them. I know some of the names, but I can't find the stones, can't read them. A tremendous collection. The annoying thing with these stately homes, and Deane Hall's no exception, is unless you're going to pay your money and go through the gates, you can't see the damn place. I've yet to see it so far. I know roughly where it is, but wherever I go, it ain't there and you can't see it. So I don't like losing out, so I'm going to have a wander around this lake as much as I dare until I can see the place. I've got my big zoom lens, and I'll try and get some pictures of it. Absolutely determined. This is at the end of the lake where a willow brook escapes from the dammed section that we're standing on, and we'll head off towards Peterborough. That's the willow brook that we know, just a stream. There she is, that's Deane Hall. As with the church, it actually dates back a very, very long time, but it kind of, like most of these stately homes, has been massively rebuilt many times over, so there's very little that survives from like the 11th, 12th century. It was significantly rebuilt when the Brudenell family took over, which was, I think was about 1560, and it's been in the Brudenell's hands ever since and still is, and they look after this park and do a cracking job, I have to say. And it's still very old. It's grade 1, 16th century, the bulk of it, and you can visit. Not the most scenic part of the walk. Nor safest, but it has to be done to get back to Deene Park. Here we go. Let's get out of here. Peace. Right, there you go. A little pocket-sized walk around Deene. Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. A bit more interesting towards the end there, but I needed to get out and test a few things, so the trip was always going to be worthwhile. But yeah, quite nice. Quite nice. Quite enjoyed that.